What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way in. Thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe because we got a lot to talk about today. Because the college football world is currently being set on fire by some comments that were made by Nick Saban that includes him talking about Jackson State, that includes him talking about Texas A&M, using their names directly when speaking about name, image, and likeness in college football and how it's hurting college football. We're going to talk about that right after the bumper. Hit that thumbs up button and stay tuned. Let's go. What up, everybody? JeffLightsYJr. here with the Black Boss Channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're starting early. Says Saban hating. Yes, Saban is doing some hating. He's doing some crying. He's doing some pleading and begging and all of that stuff. So let me set the stage for you guys because I put a tweet out there yesterday and it's currently making its rounds around Twitter. And right now, as we speak, I think Jimbo Fisher is going in on Nick Saban, calling him a narcissist, calling him all kinds of stuff. Coach Prime hasn't addressed it in a video or at a presser yet, but he's going to address Nick Saban as well, and we'll probably do another live on that. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button because we are live right now. So let me set the stage. Nick Saban was talking to a bunch of Alabama boosters, rich people in Alabama, business people in Alabama. He was having a press conference, and him and Nate Oates, the basketball coach at Alabama, and they were talking to some boosters, and the question that got brought up about NIL. They were asking him about NIL, which is name, image, and likeness, and what NIL and how it's affecting college football, how it's affecting college sports. And Nick went on a 7-minute rant, basically about how Texas A&M, and basically, this is what he said. He said Texas A&M bought every single one of their players. They had the number one recruiting class, and according to the recruiting sites or recruiting rankings, they had the number one class, and it was the number one class in history. So he said that they bought every single player. He went on to say that Alabama only had 25 players on their entire team get NIL deals, which racked up around $3 million. Now, we all know, if you follow college football, Bryce Young got the majority of that. He got over $1 million in NIL deals, and a lot of that came even before he started the game, and obviously he went on to win the Heisman Trophy. So then he goes on to say, and he really, I don't think he really cares about what's going on in Jackson State, but he tried to use them as an example, but he had no facts to back him up. He goes on to say, in Jackson State paid a player $1 million, and they bragged about it. Well, don't let me just say it. Let me let you hear Saban say it himself, because, there's one thing to tell you what the coach said. There's another thing to allow him to say it himself. So let me go ahead and share. This is a tweet that I shared last night about Coach Saban. It says Nick Saban claims, hold on, let me zoom in. It says Nick Saban claims Jackson State paid one player $1 million. Now we know who that player is or who he's alluding to play for Deion Sanders, and bragged about it. Any idea who this player is? This is a serious question, because we know we addressed this months ago, back in December, that those rumors about Jackson State paying Travis Hunter $1 million were false. We addressed it. Coach Prime addressed it. It's been done and over with. Now here we are in May, and here's what Nick Saban had to say about JSU. Let me know if you can hear. Let me make sure you guys can hear. Let me know if you can hear. Let's take a listen.
There are rules, just like Nate said. We have a rule right now that says you cannot use name, image, and likeness to entice a player to come to your school. Hell, read about it in the paper. I mean, Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year that was a really good Division I player to come to school. It was in the paper, and they bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it. There are rules, just like Nate said. We have a rule right now that says you cannot use name, image, and likeness to entice a player to come to your school. Hell, read about it in the paper. I mean, Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year that was a really good Division I player to come to school. It was in the paper, and they bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it.
All right, so I had to run it again just in case you were late, just in case you didn't hear it, just in case anything happened. So someone says, doesn't Travis have a Barstool deal? See, this is what we addressed back in December. No. Any deal that Travis has, it has nothing to do with Barstool. It has nothing to do with JSU cheating. See, here's the thing. Back during December when Travis Hunter flipped from Florida State to Jackson State, all the rumors came out that Barstool paid him $1 million. Then it was 1.5. Then it was $2 million. All this noise to sign with Jackson State when the reality is he just wanted to play for Deion. He just wanted to play for Prime. He just wanted to play at JSU, and people couldn't fathom. Now here we are. 6 months later, this is mid-May, going towards late May, and Nick Saban, the greatest college football coach in the history of college football, is quoting a rumor 6 months after it was dispelled. Literally 6 months. Even Barstool president Dave Portnoy, who I don't even like, came out and said, yo, we didn't pay nobody nothing. Yes, him and Prime are friends. Yes, Prime works for Barstool. Yes, he does stuff with Barstool. But never once did they pay this man $1 million. Never, ever, ever. Shout out to Mr. Campbell, says, why in the quote, the only school he lied on is the HBCU. Folks need to wake up. That was not a throwaway line. It's sickening because, and here's the thing. I want to make this point. Shout out to Mr. Campbell because he's always on here. He's always showing love. Nick Saban actually did Jackson State a favor by this. See, Jackson State in the SWAC, not just Jackson State, but the SWAC. He did them a favor. Why? Because he gave them a spotlight. He gave them some attention. He gave them an opportunity to be brought forth in front of the country once again. And I think all of this momentum, and this is what the SWAC, the JSU, Coach Prime, they're going to capitalize on this because more and more eyeballs are going to be like, who the hell is this team he's talking about? Who is this team that's giving up $1 million for kids to come play at an HBCU? An HBCU whose budget is $8 million. So you mean to tell me Jackson State, whose total budget is $8 million, they gave 1/8 of that to one player? Now, I played football. I've covered football for a long time, and I understand the cornerback because that's what Travis Hunter plays. The cornerback and the wide receiver position is really, really big. Like, it means a whole lot to a college football team. But a corner and a wide receiver ain't worth 1/8 of your budget. The corner and a wide receiver is not worth 1/8 of your budget in any capacity, shape, form, or fashion. Not even a quarterback is worth 1/8 of your budget. But see, here's the thing about Nick Saban. And really, this is what he was trying to do. What he was trying to do, because he was in front of, and shout out to Ms. Yard Talk. She got a shout out from Jackson State, by the way. She's grambling all the way. Miss LaShonda, just a quick sidebar. She's grambling all the way, and JSU gave her a shout out. So that lets you know she's doing some great stuff. So shout out to her. But what Saban was trying to do during this press conference is that he was trying to tell those boosters, and shout out to BJ Jones because he's pointed this out, and I knew it too during the spaces I was in. He was trying to point to those boosters and say, hey, A&M is paying their players. And yeah, we have the second-ranked recruiting class behind them without paying them, but they got number one. I don't know, and he said it in there. I don't know if we're going to continue to have top-ranked recruiting classes if A&M is paying their players and teams like Jackson State are paying their players, quote unquote. So what are y'all going to do? That's really what he was saying. He was like, what are y'all going to do? Are y'all going to help us? Y'all going to cut the check and help us get the players that A&M's getting, that Jackson State's getting, that so-and-so and so-and-so. Now, here's the problem that I have with Coach Saban. One, Deion Sanders is supposed to be your friend. He's supposed to be your friend. They do the Have Black commercials. I think Coach Prime went to Alabama, took his coaches to Alabama to listen to Saban and team up and spit some game, learn some knowledge from them, etc., etc. It's supposed to be your friend. Jimbo, if you don't know, Jimbo worked for Nick Saban back at LSU. Jimbo was an assistant under Saban for years. Jimbo also knows all of the skeletons in Nick Saban's closet. Jimbo worked for Saban before NIL, so he knows all the skeletons in Nick Saban's closet. So much so that today he said some people think they're God. When things don't go Nick Saban's way, this is words from Jimbo Fisher, and I can pull up the tweets. If some people don't get their way, they cry and they moan about it. And some people think they're God. And when they don't get their way and things don't go the way they want it, they fuss and complain and all that stuff. Ain't no more Aflac commercials. You're right about that, B Fresh. Ain't no more Aflac commercials because Prime wasn't happy. Prime wasn't happy, and neither were the players on Jackson State. This is what Travis Hunter had to say, because that's who he's talking about. He didn't say a name because obviously that's against the NCAA rules, but Travis Hunter had this to say, because we know this, because, I mean, who the hell else would he have been talking about? This is what Travis Hunter had to say, and I thought this spoke volumes. The man said, I got a meal, but my mom still live in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids. I got $1 million. You're claiming that I got $1 million to come play at JSU, whose budget is $8 million for an entire year. I got $1 million, but my mama still live in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids. See, Coach Saban, I hate to go here, but forget it. We got to do it. It's had a lot of, them kind of undertones. This had a lot of slave master type undertones. This had a lot of undertones of saying, I'm pissed that teams like A&M can go out and get the players we used to get, and a team like Jackson State can go out and get a really good Division I player, really good. And remember, Jackson State is Division I, but they're FCS, not FBS. So he was really trying to make that distinction. A really good Division I player to come play for them because they paid him $1 million. But his sources were in the paper. What paper? First of all, people don't even look at newspapers anymore. Newspaper, come on. Second, where are these facts coming from? Now I get it. Nick Saban is a busy man. Nick Saban lives, breathes, eats, sleeps college football, at least Alabama college football. But you got to have some facts with that one, G. This is a rumor you could have came to this channel right here that we dispelled back in December. Back in December, I was talking about how these folks were lying and saying Jackson State paid Travis Hunter $1 million. And we dispelled all of that. And then Coach Prime came and dispelled it. And now Travis is dispelling it. One player? How does JSU even get brought up? I get it. You and Kirby, not Kirby, who's at Georgia. You and Jimbo have this, y'all have y'all back and forth because about the NIL. Y'all have y'all back and forth about X, Y, and Z, blase, or whatever. But how do you bring up JSU? What makes you think of Jackson State? What makes you think of any HBCU or any team in the SWAC? They're not even your competitor on the field. JSU is an FCS school. You're an FBS school. JSU was in the SWAC. You were in the SEC. JSU is competing against SWAC teams and has a majority SWAC schedule. You have a majority SEC schedule. And then you play in the college football playoffs and SEC championships, et cetera, et cetera. So why is JSU even coming across you? Why is that even on your brain? Why is Travis Hunter even on your brain? I get it. You were trying to make a point to your boosters, to your whoever, saying, hey, we need some bread. Hey, y'all need to start cutting the checks. But why bring JSU into it? Why bring Deion Sanders into it? And then even if you're going to bring them into it, why lie? Why lie about it? At least use some facts. At least use some facts, man. At least use something credible, something tangible, something that we can reference to. Don't just make something up. And here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Yes, they do got him shaking. And yes, it was a very loud and subliminal shot. But here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand. Because Nick Saban been a football coach, and I'm gonna minimize this tweet a little bit. Nick Saban been a football coach, a college football coach, a high-level college football coach for like 30 years, right? He's been a high-level college football coach from Michigan State in the 90s to LSU in the mid-2000s and Alabama the last 15 years or whatever. Even if, let's just play the hypothetical game. I hate doing this because we know this ain't true, but let's entertain the lie for a second. Even if Jackson State paid Travis Hunter $1 million, right? We know that they didn't. Let me make that very clear. We already know that they didn't. But even if they paid Travis Hunter $1 million, what the hell has SEC schools been doing for 50 years? 60 years? What has SEC schools been doing for 50 years? We've heard stories of players getting. Fred Taylor came out like a month ago talking about how he got $50,000 from Georgia. This was in the 90s. $50,000 from some booster in Miami for him to come play at some SEC school, and he ended up spurning them and going to Florida. Who knows what kind of ticket they paid him to go to Florida. Cam Newton. No, I'm not trying to say straight shots, but Cam Newton's father claims he got $500,000 from Michigan State. That's why they try to mess with Cam's eligibility when he was in college, that was 10 years ago. So for the last 50 years, SEC schools have had bag men that drop the bag with the cash to the young players, to the whoever they want to come to their school. So you mean to tell me you pissed about one? Jackson State got one player, so one 5-star that goes to an FCS school for the first time and since the rankings and stuff came out. One 5-star goes to JSU, and that's worthy of bringing up. But the last 50 years of SEC schools, illegally. And here's the thing, NIL is legal. NIL is a legal thing. It's illegal. Like Travis Hunter can sign 10 $1 million contracts. If people want to pay him, he can sign whatever deal he wants. He's in college. It's NIL is legal. For the last 50 years, including players on Nick Saban's teams, have been getting paid when the stuff was illegal. And you want to bring up Jackson State? Why is this HBCU, this small HBCU in Mississippi on your brain? Is it because prime? Is it because you're threatened? Is it because you're trying to make a bigger point? Like, I get it. You're going to have your pit for pat with Texas A&M because y'all in the SEC. You're going to have your pit for pat with all of them SEC schools because y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all all in the same pot. Y'all get the same amount of money. Y'all have resources galore, right? Especially A&M. A&M's probably got the largest booster base in the country, right? But why bring Jackson State into this fight? Why drag Coach Prime into this fight? Why worry about one individual, single player, single entity? Why? I do not understand that. But see, like I said, Travis Hunter, Coach Prime, they're making noise in the SWAC. They're making noise for HBCUs. They're making noise for the entire country. Nick Saban just did them a favor because this is the number one story in sports, period. Not the number one story in college football. Not the number one. This is overshadowing the NBA playoffs. It's taking on right now. This is overshadowing whatever's taking place in the NFL. This is the number one story in the country. And Coach Prime he's going to milk this. He's going to milk the hell out of this, as he should. Because why are we in y'all conversation? Why are you in JSU business? Why are you in HBCU business? Why are you worried about what the hell we got going on? And Jimbo ain't going to let this rock neither. Y'all are Alabama. Y'all got 7 national championships. Y'all have umpteen players in the NFL. Y'all, Saban said during this, it was a bigger, he spoke for about an hour, but there was a 7-minute rant. But during that hour speech, he talked about how his players from Alabama have signed 1.7 or 1 point something billion dollars worth of NFL contracts over his, 15 years or whatever. So why are you tripping about Travis Hunter? And why are you tripping about potentially $1 million? It's one player. I get it. He was trying to rile up that base and get them to start cutting checks so they can do what A&M is allegedly doing. And good for them. But to bring up JSU, to take this subtle, garbage, little petty trash shot at Jackson State, and supposed to be your friend, Deion Sanders, and supposed to be your colleague, Coach Prime, as supposed to be someone you kick it with, hang it with, you know what I'm saying? That was weak. That was really, really weak. It was really petty. And for someone who is established like Nick Saban, who has championships like Nick Saban, who has umpteen amount of first rounders, NFL players, whatever, resources, top of the top, that was weak. I think he is nervous about the changing in college football. He also brought up the transfer portal. That was super weak. What I hope these young men, and obviously it's not going to be, I hope and pray Coach Prime, Deion Sanders continues to lead the charge, waving the flag for the HBCUs, and Grambling continues to get better. Prairie View gets better. Southern continues to get better. Alcorn, FAMU, South Carolina State, Norfolk State, all of these schools continue to get better and continue to grab guys that normally or in the past would not have considered their schools. Because this is weak. This shows weakness. This shows lack of character. This shows what they really think. And that just is what it is. It's time to come back home. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's time to come back home. And I know what people love, and even when I was in the Twitter spaces today, people love to say, well, Prime is not going to be there. It's only so much longer. Deion Sanders is going to leave Jackson State as soon as Florida State get tired of Norvell. It's gonna, blah, blah, blah. That also is a deflection. That is a deflection mechanism. That is a way to take away from the fact that what he's doing at JSU is special. I've spoke about this before in the past. Coach Prime could go to Florida State and win 10 national championships. It won't matter an ounce compared to what he's doing at Jackson State, what he's doing for HBCUs, what he's doing for the SWAC, what he's doing for our culture, for our people. He could never make that kind of impact at Florida State, ever. They're always going to put Bobby Bowden or someone above him. Always. Always. It'll never not be a Bobby Bowden school or never not be somebody else's school. But Coach Prime at Jackson State, he's a legend already. Already a legend. For the simple fact that dudes like Nick Saban is bringing up his name in conversation with his own boosters. Something that had nothing to do with HBCUs or SWAC or anything. That's how you know the impact is real. For people to say, oh, this is only imaginary or this ain't going to last, or blah, blah. Man, the impact is real, dude. You got arguably, so shout out to Eddie Robinson, somebody corrected me in the chat, so thank you for that. Arguably, one of the greatest coaches in college football history, a dude with 7 national championships. Talking about JSU. Talking about Jackson State, because he was floored when they signed Travis Hunter. Clearly. He ain't had to say it. He said enough right there. Even he was floored that they signed Travis Hunter. Even he was floored that they were able to get a player of that caliber. Even he was stunned, shocked, flabbergasted, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, whatever, that Travis Hunter chose to go to JSU over in Alabama, over Florida State, over at Georgia. So much so that he went and told a damn lie in front of a bunch of people, millions of people, because he keeps re-airing and re-airing and re-airing. So much so, with no sources, no credibility, no nothing. All he said was, in the paper, they bragged about it. In the paper. What paper? Show me the paper. I need to see it, man. I need to see it. Because where the hell was this at? Where is this paper at? like, come on. Like, where is this paper at? Please, 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 please. Like, are you serious? I mean, like, we gotta. Hold on, y'all. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that. I gotta show y'all this because I gotta. Like, this is probably what Saban's talking about. This is, I mean, but here's and look at the date on this article, and I can show you a video for myself. Deion Sanders denies Travis Hunter got $1.5 million NIL contract from Jackson State. This is dated December 16th. So Nick Saban, I ask you once again, what paper? Let me make this big for y'all. What paper? This is from Bleacher Report. They're pretty credible, I'd say. What paper, dude? I'll wait. What paper? What the hell are you talking about? Like what? Like you are someone with too big of a platform, with too much knowledge. Hell, you talk to Deion. You've been in commercials with Deion since December. So what I ask once again, what the hell made you think it was cool to go lie to these people in front of a national audience to say some BS, to say a lie like that? Like what paper? Bleacher Report isn't a paper, it's a digital paper, I guess. But even they, like, so what are you talking about? This is why it's so frustrating. The A&M thing, okay, I don't know about A&M. A&M as a school has a big alumni base. Them people got a lot of money. So I don't know what's happening at A&M. I don't. It just is what it is. But this right here, Jackson State, they don't got the money that A&M got. They don't have the alumni base that A&M has. They don't have those connections. They don't have those finances. They don't have those resources that the schools in the SEC do. So what you say about A&M, that's on y'all business. That's on y'all time. But on this right here, to come out and say to the world, just a blatant lie. Just a blatant lie. It's messed up, man. That's low. That's garbage. That's trash. That's indefensible. You can't defend this. And anybody trying to defend this garbage, you're just as bad as him. You're just as bad as him. And that's a fact. That is a fact. And even if, once again, he didn't, let's make that clear, because this article was written back in December. I did a video right around this time. And even if he did get $1 million from Jackson State, what the hell does that got to do with Alabama? What does that even have to do? What does that have to do with Alabama at all? Besides the fact he didn't choose to go to Alabama, he chose to go to JSU. It's garbage, man. It's garbage, man. It says, and if Travis would have gotten it, it would have been a problem. It's no problem with Bryce Young getting paid. And here's what Mr. Campbell's talking about. Here's what Mr. Campbell's talking about. Bryce Young. Bryce Young, now we know Bryce Young got won the Heisman Trophy. But let's look at, so Bryce Young won the Heisman Trophy because of what he did in the fall of 2021. Let's make that clear. Bryce Young started his first game at Alabama in September of 2021. So let's put that out there, because I'm about to, Mr. Campbell, shout out to you, because you put out something real good. Bryce Young won the Heisman Trophy in January of 2022. He didn't start his first game to September of 2021 for Alabama. This is what, remember, he started his first game in September of 2021. This article was written back in July of 2021. Sources, Alabama Crimson Tide QB Bryce Young already assigned more than $800,000 in NIL deals. This article was written in July of 2021. Where was Saban on that? What you have to say about that, Saban? Bryce Young didn't start his first game for Alabama until September of 2021. This article, and it really went north of $1 million, north of $1 million, meaning over $1 million. But this article was written in July. If you would have got it by August, it would have been north of $1 million. He didn't start his first game to September. What was the criticism on that? What was all the talk on that? What was it? What was the energy for this? This is your quarterback at Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback Bryce Young has already signed more than $800,000 in NIL deals before he started a damn game. Come on, man. He bragged about Bryce Young getting that money. He bragged about it. He used it as a recruiting pitch. He used it as a recruiting tool. And I'm not hating on Bryce Young. He deserved every penny that anybody was worth. He deserves every penny that anybody is willing to give to him. But what was that energy for this? But you want to throw Jackson State under the bus? You want to throw Prime under the bus? Your friend? You want to throw JSU, Coach Prime, and what they doing under the bus, and he's supposed to be your friend? Come on, man. Come on, man. We gotta be fair, dude. Like we gotta come on. Like, are you serious? What you say about A&M? Hey, that's on y'all time, because y'all on the same equal playing field. Y'all both working with hundreds of millions of dollars, like a lot of money. But talking about Prime and JSU, talking about what they doing with one player. And y'all don't believe me that they're working with hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's take a look, man. Because we got to lay all the facts out there and why this is a problem. And if you don't see it as a problem, you're the problem. Alabama athletics budget, $180 million. Nick Saban salary, $9 million. JSU's entire athletic budget, $8 million. Imaginary JSU player NIL salary is $1 million, when Prime doesn't even make half of that. Prime as the coach don't even make half of that, man. Like, come on, man. Come on. We gotta fight facts we gotta fight facts over feelings always. Always, any day of the week, and twice on Sunday. We gotta start using the facts, man. We can't be led blindly by dudes who just talking out the side of their neck, just saying anything. Nick Saban, bro, you're supposed to be better than this, man. You're supposed to be better than this, man. Like, are you serious? Y'all budget's $180 million versus Jackson State's $8 million, and you worried about them getting one player. Jackson State should have never entered your mouth, dude. I get what you were doing. You're trying to rile up your base. You're trying to get them to throw more money into the pot because he talked about collectives and how A&M's got this collective, and A&M goes to the collective and say, hey, we need X amount of money to sign this player. That's really what he was getting at. But you don't have to use Jackson State as your example to get your guys to put more money into a collective for you to get more recruits, even though you've been getting recruits since the start of your tenure at Alabama. You got 7 rings to prove it. You've been getting recruits forever. Folks in the SEC been throwing out money like they've been handing out money like it's hotcakes at IHOP. And you worried about one player going to JSU. And someone says Skip and Shannon goes, yeah, Shannon, yeah, he did his thing. He's worried about because history says they should be worried. And I hope they are worried. And I hope young men see this kind of foolishness. Mr. Campbell, I'm speaking to you and everybody's listening. Shout out to y'all for listening. Hit that thumbs up button. But I hope young recruits see this stuff and realize that, hey, man, the grass is greener over there in the SWAC, over there in the MEAC, over there the CIAA, over there at Howard, at FAMU, at Grambling, at Prairie View, at Jackson State, at, at Southern, at Bethune-Cookman. I hope they see this. I hope. This is my hope. This is not going to be an overnight thing. Overnight, you're not going to see 55 stars just or 45 stars or a group of 5 and 4 stars just flip and go to the SWAC schools. But the exposure is big. Exposure matters. Indoctrinating the young people matters. BJ Jones, shout out to BJ Jones. He said indoctrinating and teaching the young people at an early age matters, because then when they grow up and they see the block J or they see a big G on the side of their helmet, they think like, wow. Because it's hard to tell a kid their whole life, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, et cetera, is the best. And then when they get to 16, 17, 18, when they're starting to get recruited, to, actually, never mind, Jackson State's the best. Or actually, never mind, Grambling's the best. Or actually, never mind. It's hard to do that. It's hard to kind of just, make that flip. But if you indoctrinate them and teach them at an early age that, hey, it's pretty dope over there at Jackson State. It's pretty dope lit over there at Grambling. Man, Southern is sick at Southern. Then by the time they get to 16, 17, 18 years old, and they're being recruited and they're getting these offers and they're able to take these visits, they'll think about those schools. My name is JeffLightsyJr. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way out. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter's going crazy right now because of this stuff. At JLightsy7. It's at JLightsy7. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.